There is a noise to travel. The trains, the crowds, the rushing to see the next sight. But here at Hakone, travel sometimes becomes stillness. I'm Pedro Alberto, and today I'm going to take you to the edge of an active volcano to eat eggs that promise eternal life. And we'll go on a pirate ship in search of a glimpse of the majestic Mount Fuji. And we'll explore the foods and traditions hidden in these hills. But the real journey of this trip, it wasn't climbing a mountain. It was facing the silence. Come with me. Getting there is half the story. We took the romance car from Tokyo, which sounds dramatic, and with these self-heating bento boxes, it kinda is. You pull a string, and suddenly, your refrigerated meal becomes a hot meal at 100 kilometers an hour. At the station, we got these bento boxes. Now mine one is one that automatically heats up. You pull the string and it heats up. It's got some Kobe beef, it's got some noodles, rice, a few vegetables. It looks delicious. So I'm excited because it just heated itself up and I'm gonna try it right now. It's very good. There was some steam that came out of it. It isn't piping hot, but it isn't cold either. The flavor is very good. The meat is very tender, obviously. And everything is very flavorful. There's a little bit of teriyaki sauce, I believe, on top of the Kobe beef. And I'm gonna have a bite of, maybe this is potato. Overall, a very pleasant experience and a nice train ride over from Tokyo to Hakone. Once we switch to the Hakone Tozan train, the journey changes. It's one of the steepest climbs in Japan. It zigzags, slowly crawling up the mountain. What's super neat about this is a 100-year-old rail line. As the train is advancing forward, it will actually sprinkle water onto the tracks to reduce wear and tear. So that means that they haven't changed the rail lines in 100 years and it's still working incredibly well. It is an absolutely beautiful train ride. You get this sense of being transported back in time. And all along the way, there are these beautiful sceneries that you get to take in. As the train slows down, you feel your own internal clock slowing down with it. And finally, we have arrived at our sanctuary, Hakone Tokinoshizuku. This isn't just a hotel, it's a Ryokan, a traditional inn where the world revolves around your comfort. We stayed in a room with its own private onsen on the balcony, and it's a place that you don't go to dinner. The dinner comes to you. So there's this level of service here called omotenashi, and it anticipates what you need before you even need it. So there was this whole table with chairs, linen, silverware that was set up right in our room. Our concierge Yuka set everything up, and that just made it look pretty, but the table setting really took on this artistic form. Everything looked absolutely beautiful, and to be honest, it made me a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning because she was doing all of this work. And part of the service, this is all part of the experience of these types of inn. So we are starting off as an aperitif with the plum wine. And the amuse-bouche is this lotus root dumpling, followed by this beautiful roasted aigamo duck with seasoned garnish of carrots, cherry, tomato. This is avocado jelly right there, that green. Isn't that cute? It's in the shape of something. Oh, it's in the shape of like little leaves is what it is. And then the sauce right there is balsamic with cheese. And then this little kettle thing, it's a soup. It's dobi mushi, which is marsh mushroom, white onion, and Japanese citrus right there sitting on top. And then to finish, the third course is the sashimi, which has tuna, sea bream, salmon, and raw seaweed. So the salmon is from the base of Mount Fuji. It is ridiculously good looking. All right, let's go ahead and dig in. I think the first thing is the wine. Cheers. So I'm gonna take a bite of this lotus root dumpling. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can see this, but there's several layers. So the lotus root is on the outside, and on the inside there's something else. I don't know what that is, but the sauce It's like a gravy almost. It's very delicious. And believe that there's some egg also on the side. It is a very nice dish. The lotus root dumpling is almost like a taro, but that sauce really is what makes this dish, don't you think? So the thing that surprised us the most out of all of this is that she said this is just the first part. So this entire table, she said she'll come back in about 20 to 30 minutes to give us the next 2 courses that are coming with all of this. It is a 5-course menu total. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try the soup next. It comes in this really beautiful little pot. We put these pine needles, and then there are these tiny little teacup size, and you pour it in. It's like a nice clear broth. So there's mushrooms, there's the white fish, there was a little bit of onion floating in there in the soup. Very delicious. Now it's time for the duck. So what's really cool is that, I don't know if you can tell, there's little pieces of gold flakes right there. So I'm gonna try the sauce with this balsamic and cheese sauce. I don't always like duck. Sometimes it has a unique taste that I'm not particularly fond of. This is it doesn't have any sort of strong negative taste. It almost tastes like a very flavorful meat. And the avocado jelly is actually a sweetness to it. I want to take a piece of the avocado jelly and the sauce all together. The duck is so tender. This meal, what I tasted, and we haven't even gotten to the sashimi, is worth the price of admission. And yeah, mixing them all together, I don't know if that's how they're supposed to be eaten, but they go really well together. But this was a perfect dish. Everything, the soup, the wine, and I have to mention that the young woman who's put all of this together and has been serving us, an incredible delight. She's just really delightful kind of person, and everybody that we've encountered here has kind of that same attitude, but she just sparkles. Here's the ridiculously large plate for the sashimi. It's sitting on a bed of ice. And there's a healthy amount of wasabi in here. I like wasabi. I know not everybody likes wasabi, but I really like it. But I'm going to start with a piece of the salmon. This is a nice healthy piece too. It's a little bit thicker than I thought that it would be. Actually, all of these are all cut fairly thick. Now let's go with the tuna. It kind of like just disintegrated as I put it into my mouth. It is so good. There's a sweetness to it. It just, as I put it into my mouth, it just kind of disintegrates. It tastes so fatty, so that kind of, my lips are kind of lined with oil. I've never had tuna that was quite this oily, this fatty. So this is the sea bream. So what she recommended was that sake sauce for the white fish. So I'm gonna dip it in that. It's an incredibly mild taste for the fish. I was expecting it to be a way more fishy, more punch in your face kind of a fish. But the fish itself is actually, I don't know if it's because it's so fresh or sea bream, that's not a fish that I'm too familiar with. There's an aftertaste to the tuna that I'm not familiar with, but it's good.
Next dish is horokuyaki. That is a traditional Japanese dish of seafood, meat, vegetables, like grilled and steamed in this clay pot. Abalone, flounder, the maitake mushroom, club claw, and deer meat.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm gonna start out with a piece of the abalone, and I am going to put the ponzu on it. Usually when I eat an abalone, which this seems like it's grilled, it can be a little bit tough. So this is almost like a very tender octopus. I'm going to continue with a piece of the fish, which was flounder. Flounder is not a fish that I'm very familiar with. Very good. There's not a very strong, overwhelming taste to it. It's almost like a milder butterfish, not as flaky, but like a very mild butterfish. Now, let's go ahead and have the crab. It's very good. I'm pretty sure this is probably a snow crab. These mushrooms are maitake mushrooms. There's not necessarily a lot of taste to it, but it pairs well with the ponzu dipping sauce. And now we're gonna try a piece of the venison. The consistency is a little bit kind of like a meatloaf instead of a steak. Pairs well with the Bordeaux, actually. So it's a little bit more grainy. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of this snow salt. How's the salt bake? I would say the first 3 courses, I like them better than these. Everything overall was very mild. On this, muted flavors. The ponzu sauce is very good. Nothing that I would say, oh, I don't like this or anything like that. It's just that on the first servings, there were a lot more bold flavors. But we still have the beef, which is not a huge amount of beef. It's long, but it's very thin. There's also some Brussels sprouts here. I'm actually gonna eat that first. Very fresh, very sweet. I'm gonna try this, what looks like a mashed potato. It's like a mixture between a mashed potato and a potato salad, like a bland potato salad. It just has potato in it. And now let's have a taste of this beef. It's about the size of like a slice of roast beef, like a big slice of roast beef. So it's fairly thin. This is similar to Kobe beef. You can see all the fattiness in the beef, and it makes it so tender to the palate. And then the sauce, the red wine sauce, is a little sweet. So it's almost like a little bit of a jelly. And there's shaved truffles on top of the meat. I personally have never had shaved truffles, so I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to eat them, like if you take a bite of it all, but that's what I'm gonna do. I've had truffled things, but never just truffled shavings. So let me see what that tastes like. That's so interesting. The truffles really change the flavor. It tastes like truffles. I don't know, I've never been able to really describe truffle taste. I feel like it's its own flavor. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, you can see the shaving of the truffle. So yeah, so just a little tiny amount, maybe like six slices or so of that truffle. But oh my gosh, mixing it all together with the steak and the sauce and the truffle. You know, as I'm taking these bites, I have to tell you, I walked in and the worker was showing us, and walking into the room, I don't know, I just got a little overwhelmed. It's really beautiful here. You just got a sense of something being really special. This food is fantastic. Even the second servings, like I said, nothing was bad or something that I wouldn't eat. But there is just this next level of specialness for them to come and set up this table and the chairs and all of these different foods right here. Yes. Okay. So now to actually go back to the food. So we are having a homemade galette. It's got obviously the whipped cream, and it has apple compote and a chocolate drizzle on top. It's a beautiful dish. Everything has been presented with such beauty. And then we also got a tea. It's really obvious that to them, their number one task is to make sure that everybody has an amazing experience. So even thinking about the type of tea that they serve so that you have a good night's sleep. Let's try the galette. Oh, there's a heftiness to it. I thought it was just going to be basically air. So before you invite it, you get a whiff of like cinnamon, which just sets up the entire taste. Like it tastes like somebody ground up cinnamon and put it in here. And the apple inside, there's a crisp to it. It's not overly sweet, but true to most Japanese desserts, this is just the right amount of sweetness without feeling overwhelming. Perfect way to end this meal. So there's a surprise menu which has all of the explanations, and it has actually the date on it. So we assume that each day things are going to be different. We're here for 2 nights, so we'll be able to try another dinner. They also give us breakfast in the morning. They give you an option as to what time they want to come. We're going to take the 9 a.m. Maybe see if we can sleep in.
We had a great night's sleep on the tatami mats, and I had just enough time for another dip in the onsen before breakfast was served. Breakfast consisted of eggs Benedict with vegetable pear, yogurt with a house-made jelly, a salad with anchovy salt, fruit that was incredibly sweet and flavorful. But the star was the potato leek soup. Oh, it was so creamy. I wish we got a whole bowl. And we ended with a cup of delicious house coffee. Now it was time to get out and chase the noise. We did the Hakone loop, starting with the pirate ship. Yes, a literal pirate ship to sail across Lake Ashi. We boarded the Hakone sightseeing cruise at the edge of the lake, which is a volcanic crater that filled with water 3,000 years ago. But the real attraction isn't the boat. It was behind me. Seeing the iconic peak of Mount Fuji rising over the water, it's one of those moments where you stop caring about the cold and just stare. We said goodbye to the boat and went straight to Tozan Station, right on the water's edge to catch the ropeway. We rode the gondola up over the sulfur vents of Owakudani to eat the legendary black eggs that add years to your life. So this is what I'm eating today. This is a kuro tamago, so just basically means black egg. And what happens is that these are actually cooked within the thermal waters, and the sulfur reacts with the eggshell and turns it black. But people don't come up here just because it's a black egg and they want a picture of it. Legend is that if you eat one of these, you get 7 years added to your life. I'm an egg connoisseur, so I'm really looking forward to trying this. I eat 2 eggs every morning, just like this, except white. So I like to roll them up like this because it makes it a lot easier to then crack. So let's try it out. As far as eggs go, it's an egg, but it tastes very good. The yolk is kind of big and there's a creaminess to it. There's nothing incredibly special about it, but it's a good egg. If you like eating boiled eggs, you're gonna think this is a good egg. If this isn't your cup of tea, no, maybe skip the black egg. But don't forget about those 7 years. We took another ropeway ride down the mountain with an incredible view of Mount Fuji, and we took that all the way to the Hakone Tozan cable car, a steep funicular train that drops you right into the town of Gora. Finally, we headed down to the Hakone Yumoto Shotengai, the bustling shopping street outside the station, to eat our way through the stalls. So we are in Hakone, right outside of the Hakone Yumoto Station. There's a little walking area which has a ton of little places that have all of these foods. So we're gonna try a whole bunch of them. Lots of manju, lots of little dumplings, lots of little burgers, all things like that. So for our first bite, we are trying dango, which is a rice dumpling. This one has mayonnaise and it has the flakes, the shrimp flakes. But here, I'm gonna take a bite. So it has the fish flakes on it, a drizzle of mayonnaise. The dumpling itself is a little bit like a soft mochi. Very good, very soft, just freshly made right across there. They have both savory and sweet versions. I think both of them would go really well. There's a tiny little bit of sweetness in the mochi that goes well with the fishiness of the fish cakes. But just a really sweet, interesting first bite. So for our next bite, we got grilled abalone, and this looks amazing. They do, which is what I've seen them do on a lot of the seafood, is that they flambe it, they use a torch to torch it so that it's grilled and then it has that torch over it. I'm gonna eat it, it's still piping hot. Okay, it took me a while to chew and savor. There's a butter taste to it. It was so good. If you love seafood, this almost tastes like a seafood version of bacon. Fatty and very buttery. There is a chewiness to it, but it's not usually how I eat abalone. Really high quality of it. And then just right here on the side of the road. At this Hakone Romante, what we have here is ice cream topped with the French
style dessert, Mont Blanc, which is primarily a dessert made from puree chestnut. And you see a chestnut right there that is sort of made into these vermicelli noodles looking thing. So there's ice cream on the bottom. And so you can let's put that back up. So you can see right there the ice cream on the bottom, and then that Mont Blanc dessert on the top. Ooh. That's the whole thing about not knowing Japanese. You can get translations for the desserts. I could get the translation for the chestnut and all those things, but there's not a lot of explanations as to all the different things that there are in there. But the fortunate thing is that everything has been absolutely delicious, so I have no problem in just sticking it in my mouth and seeing how it tastes like. It's about 4:30 here, and a lot of the shops are already starting to close down. And it feels still with a lot of energy, a lot of tourists, a lot of people walking around shopping. Ooh, look at how great this looks. I kind of feel like I have to try one. So these are the burgers. They're very tiny, but very cute. I already had mine. It was delicious. I mean, it tastes like a regular hamburger, just in a little tiny form. Not a lot of condiments, but there is a little bit of condiments. You can taste a little bit of ketchup, and there's chips on the bottom of the cup.
We had a blast in this area of Hakone, but it was time to take the train back with just enough time for another dip in the onsen and get ready for our second day dinner. Tonight, we are having prosciutto as our first course. It's still a 5-course meal. There's also some cabbage soup. There's this little mountain of prosciutto. There's a lot of it, actually. Very good quality prosciutto. Salty, fatty, smooth. Very good quality. The prosciutto is great by itself, but the olive oil is very good quality. Ooh, and now let's go ahead and try this soup. I think you can see that. It actually looks like ham. You see the cabbage, and you see some of that mushroom right there. Yeah, it's like a fish broth. Definitely has a little bit of a fishy taste to it. I'm gonna eat this thing, which I'm not sure what it is. See, there's those layers. There's something in there. Yeah, it tastes like a pork, but everything is very good.
Alright, so next one is a ragu beef of Ashigara. And this one is a Japanese, like a lobster.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like a beef bourguignon. It's such a nice, mild, beautiful taste. Just the tiniest bit of sweetness in it. Nothing overpowers anything. You just get this very smoky, meaty flavor. And when I eat every single piece of this sauce, the beef is great. The vegetables were good. The ricotta cheese was fantastic. But the sauce, the way that I describe it is like a really amazing Japanese beef stew. The best you've ever had. But it's ragu. It's great. It's all gone.
It tastes like
And so they have a full mini bar. The alcohol is not included, but the prices are very reasonable for a hotel like this. This gives us maybe 2.5 glasses of wine. Comes up to about $30.
Okay, I will explain it. This one is a bluefin tuna, and this one is a yellow sea bream. That is a Benifuji salmon. Yeah. And this one is a grunt, and this one is a conga eel, botan shrimp, and a scallop. And this one is a miso soup. Oh. Yeah, it's a sea bream miso soup.
Oh.
Yes.
Suffice to say, the rest of the meal was excellent. But let me tell you, the sushi here operates on a different frequency. The fish melts in your mouth, and the fresh wasabi, it woke me right up. It gave me that kick that I definitely wasn't expecting, but absolutely loved. This is the beauty of kaiseki dining, the type of dining that they do at these types of inns. You don't order, you trust. The philosophy is about capturing the exact moment of the season on your plate. It's deliberate. It's art. The next morning, after having another phenomenal breakfast, seriously, that was the best ham and egg sandwich I've ever had, I reflected on my time in Hakone. I realized I hadn't been looking forward to coming here. I was afraid of the quiet. I've always gravitated towards noise, action, work. Maybe that's what my immigrant upbringing instilled in me. I always felt that if I wasn't doing something for someone, then I was being selfish. But I was wrong. Sitting in those thermal waters didn't feel like an absence of energy. It gave me the ability to harness it. I used to call this selfishness. Now I know what it really is. It's healing.
So Hakone is unique because it has historically been the checkpoint between the East and the West, Tokyo and Kyoto. For centuries, travelers had to stop here. That history of pausing, resting, and healing is built into the soil and now has been filled into the amazing people and the hospitality that surrounds it. And you know, they say that those black eggs that we ate add 7 years to your life, but sitting here in this water, listening to the forest and the faraway train, I realized something. It's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. I'm Pedro Alberto, soaking it all in, and I'll see you at our next adventure.